Not fair. I have been married for 17.5 years. My marriage has been in stasis, limbo for at least 10 years. I have attempted to distract myself with positive things like building my clinic, exercise, marital arts, and learning. My oath and commitment before God to this marriage and our children are the only things keeping me from divorcing this woman today. She does not share my belief in God, nor any belief that I share for that matter. She feels that I am rigid, her word not mine. I am an attractive, intelligent man who will be 40 in a few months. And I am contemplating the merits of spending the next 40 years of my life with this hateful and frigid my word woman. She doesn't smile when I enter a room, seldom has anything pleasant to say to me, and generally avoids my company so she can endlessly Facebook or chat on the phone. She never initiates something physical and doesn't even hold hands with me or touch me. Emotionally, I know she has committed adultery and perhaps even physically, as there have been allegations by a neighbor's ex-wife. I am tired of venting my anger on kickbags and in sparring rings. I want more from my life than excellent fighting skills, lonely evenings, and an opportunity to work tirelessly for a woman who is indifferent at best, hateful at worst. My relationship is poisoning all aspects of my life. I feel angry as I have done nothing wrong. I am finding it difficult to sleep at night, and I am seriously distracted through the course of the day. I find that my trust for her has waned, and I find myself wondering where she is during the course of the day. I know she is just going through some sort of midwife life crisis, but how long is too long to wait for change? I have given her an ultimatum to make a decision, but she has differed it back to me as she knows I can't pull the trigger on this divorce. I believe marriage is for life, but she refuses to see clergy. My mistake is I am looking to someone else for validation, respect, and love, and being bitter when they don't provide the very thing that they are looking for as well for themselves. When we fight, I hear everything she says and reply, just insert your name there, and that's true for you too. I think I will work on expanding my social circles and being less dependent on my wife for my emotional needs. This is really what I resent about her, is that I don't feel needed as she has many more friends and activities than I do. This is partially because she is a stay-at-home mom with more disposable time, but it is also because she is a more pleasant person than I am. Life, decision, and circumstance have afforded her that opportunity. Ironically, what she resents about me is that she feels her life lacks the purpose and respect afforded a professional. I also suspect she feels vulnerable, as she has little in the way of marketable skills. Her reward, now that I have been practicing for a decade or so, is that it consumes a lot of my time with multiple clinics. I think she thought we'd also make more money than what we do, although we do less together now than when I was an enlisted man. If I divorce her, I will not have changed any of the real underlying problems in either of our lives. Instead, I think I will make it my mission to smile more each day, thank God for the gifts He has given me, and seek something more artistic and softer to balance out the hours I spend training to fight. I guess I am slow for my profession. I have diverted my energies between healing and hurting as my major pursuits, because I wrongly felt that this provided balance. I was wrong. It suggests confusion. I think tomorrow I will simply focus on living and loving. We went once through our church about 2 years ago, and it initially made a huge difference. We both had a venue to tell the other what we really expected out of our relationship, and the exchange of information without escalation was effective. My wife, unfortunately, is not a direct person, and my powers of ESP had apparently been waning. So, I adjusted the time I saw my last patient and came home. I eliminated any nighttime practice, and I tried to go to bed at the same time more or less than her, as these were her primary complaints. She did little in return. The frequency we had bonding improved marginally, but only if I initiated it to maybe 1 to 2 times per week. And that was that. No other adjustments about contributing more at home. She was still always somewhere doing something that need not be done, like at the gym for ducking 3.5 hours. I train at least 4 to 5 days per week, plus practice, so she says. That's what you do. Not really. I get up at 4 a.m., train from 5 or so to 7:30 and see my first patient at 8. I practice 3 to 4 times per week, but I go in the evening on Saturday and I don't have lunch, so my training affects her very little. She goes from 8 to 11:30, goes out to lunch, and returns in time to nap and be there when our kids get home. Not a bad day. She also frequently takes getaway with her girlfriends, because staying at home is stressful. Well, so is running 2 clinics. I don't take retreats. I may go to a conference every year or so, but that is work. At least for me it is. I don't play. The primary memory I have of our one session was that when asked, I stated divorce was not an option. She stated it was something she was seriously contemplating. My thought is that she is the one who put it on the table, and she is the one who has violated her vows. My friends have all told me they would understand, were I to leave her as I have cause. I find I can't forgive someone who doesn't change, and it is affecting my life in negative ways even I can see. I am not looking to hook up with anybody other than my wife, but how much is enough? She is at the coast now, and I actually slept peacefully last night without her. It was refreshing. She is headed back east in a week or so, and I am thinking about taking a day off and meeting with a lawyer then to see about minimizing my vulnerability. I hate to see her have custody though, as she is unfit in my opinion to properly raise decent human beings. She is way too liberal and permissive. Ironically, this is what I enjoyed about her when I met her as a teenager in the service. She was fun and exciting and could bend in the most interesting ways. For her, I was strong and stable, and going somewhere. As I said, it's ironic. This is now what I hate about her and what she despises in me. Oh well, living and learning. Marriage began easily enough. Feelings of love and attraction empowered me and it was a nice road to walk. Soon concerns with school and children arrived, and time became sparse between myself and my wife. However, the road was familiar to me and comfortable, so I walked on. Then the storms came, deaths in the family, moves, starting a new business, etc. At this point I wasn't even sure I was even on the right path anymore. But only a fool changes his direction while walking at night. Unfortunately, day hasn't come. I continue to walk, but the trail is cold and foreign now. My companion is now a stranger. I would like to say that I still love her, but I don't. I know our love has died between us. I am now her least priority. Even Facebook has become more important than I am to her. She has energy for friends and their problems, but at the end of the day no real energy or time for me. I know my middle game is through, but how does one take the next step? Do you just tell her, honey, this isn't working at all? I want out. I know you just don't randomly serve her papers. Do you save some money on the side or set up another residence? Do you tell her we can live together until the house sells as glorified roommates, as there isn't any violence between us? Only animosity. Do you reach down into that empty space and forgive one more time, even though there isn't anything left inside of you? I have prayed and prayed with no avail. I have biblical reasons to end this relationship, but I have opted to try to forgive. I am sorry, but some things are difficult to forgive. I have stayed because I don't know how the hell do you tell your kids you gave up on their family. I was given an ultimatum last November by my wife to leave my practice if I truly wanted our marriage to continue. My partner agreed to buy out my share in the practice, but I opted not to. As now more than ever, I need some financial stability. I feel torn and conflicted. I feel separate from God and have stopped attending church. I have spent the last 10 years of my life building a medical practice and have sacrificed myself socially to do this. I have lots of acquaintances, but almost no real friends. My only real hobby has been martial arts, because when you hurt it gives you a venue to direct the pain. I am almost 40, smart, industrious, very fit, and lonely as hell. I refuse to cheat on my wife, as I value honor above happiness. But how much is enough? Or do I just press on and continue to walk alone in the night? I have just about everything I need in this life with the exception of true love. And I want like hell to have that again. On paper it's perfect, in reality it's pathetic. How do I begin my endgame with this marriage? I have told her how I feel and what I need. She says there isn't anything left for her to give. She is too tired from taking care of kids all day. She's too tired. I am the one up at 4 or 4:30 every morning. I am the one that gets home at 7 every night. I understand staying at home may have its trials, but so does tending to injured people all day. Her job is not more difficult than mine. As an aside, our kids are the only part of our relationship that works. Our kids are stable, productive, and generally happy. We have 2 in high school, 1 in junior high, 2 in elementary school, and another at home. They are polite, good students, and generally helpful. I stay largely because I am afraid she would be given custody of my younger kids, and I do not feel that she is fit to properly raise them. I know what you are thinking. 6 kids, poor woman. However, I am a very involved dad, and I work a lot around the house. I resent it, but I do it. She doesn't do much in my absence. Heavy cleaning is saved for Setaz's yard work. She typically spends her morning at the gym and may go somewhere for lunch with her lady friends. She sometimes will cook dinner, and she is always doing laundry, but there is a huge disparity between what we each contribute in terms of work. We have tried counseling. Either her counselor or her friends are giving her poor advice. From the changes I have seen, I think the general take was put distance between your life and his so he begins to appreciate you more. This really isn't working as attention and affection are hugely important to me in our relationship. And this is all I want back. We have even gone together, but she goes on a tangent about every misdeed I have ever committed. My crimes are not all that serious. I got a couple of dogs. I took a job in a place we could afford to buy a house and then started a clinic there as I had built up my reputation here. I worked too long. The last one is legit, but I am trying to make my business work, and there isn't much to come home to aside from my kids. I spend too much money. This also is legit, but I work my butt off and she largely neglects me. So toys ease the pain. She also feels TKD is more important than she is. False, but it keeps me from drinking, or doing something equally destructive. Her problem against me, let me think, oh now I remember. She doesn't love me, just that, and a neighbor's wife coming to my clinic on a rainy day and telling me to look at phone records as she thinks my wife is having an affair with her husband. I have felt neglected like this for 10 years. She has been aware of it for less than 2. Love is patient. My wife pulled away after the birth of our first child. She became a mom and stopped being a wife. However, at that time, I had a lot to occupy me, school and rotations. Then it was work. However, a decade or so ago, I looked up from my millstone and noticed I was alone. We still sleep in the same room when she is home, and although she will never initiate anything, I can largely have it whenever I want to sleep with a fish. There isn't any affection, no kissing or talking anymore, no pre-game anything, just straight to the point and done. Ironically, though she still enjoys the act if not necessarily her partner, I guess she still appreciates my body. Small consolation, the jackass she cheated with allegedly is not even good looking or fit. I would guess he must be more sensitive than I am, except for the fact he was willing to cheat of his wife and family. Wow, you say I have to resolve all of my negative feelings. Just writing this stuff upsets me. No, I think it's over, unless we can somehow rekindle our love. Comments. You are not walking in the dark alone. You know that it just feels that way at times and sometimes for a long time. You two have built up resentment and anger, turned your backs to one another over time to quell the pain and frustration. Why did your wife ask you to get out of your partnership practice? She is angry at you because you made a choice she obviously does not understand and feels less important than your financial situation. Why did she give you an ultimatum? What is behind the ultimatum? You two can't talk without getting all your issues on the table. And if you want your marriage to last, you need to essentially make her and you top priority. You are lucky she is on Facebook and is at least somewhat religious. It may be keeping her from an affair. Who knows? OP responds, she felt I could do better financially elsewhere. That may be true, but it is not an informed, well thought out decision on her part. I would have to start from scratch, and probably take a $50,000 pay cut. It would also be several years if all went well, before I would be invited to be a partner in this mystery practice. She said we could move and start again. This works for me. I would like to go back to the Midwest, but she wants to go home to Santa Barbara. So, no agreement there. We could afford SB. If she started to work on her master's degree and positioned herself to start a career in 4 or so years. Won't do that either, because it would be work and sacrifice on her part. I realize she needs to be my top priority, but honestly different people have different ways of showing love. I show love largely through works. I bust my hump for my family. It's what I was taught. It's what I do, and sadly it doesn't resonate well with her. My family is my top priority. God is my witness. Almost anyone else would have left her years ago. As for your last point, Facebook sucks. It is a time sap and keeps you from interacting with the people that really matter in your life. I am right when I said she pulled away first. Hell, she was shocked when I told her I had felt this way for the better part of a decade. She said, if that's true, why did you stay? Well, it's for the same reason I'm here now. I made an oath and a commitment, I told her. However, it's hard to continuously love when you are not being loved in return. By the end of the week, I'm spent mentally. She no longer provides the support she used to. She won't even iron for me anymore. This kills me. But the lack of support and handicaps me from in turn giving her the love and attention that she needs. I wish she could only see that. So, you are right again, Sandy. Spouses go elsewhere. I got distracted with martial arts to deal with my emotions. It seemed very positive at the time, and I grew up on a wrestling mat, and spent 6 years in the service, so it has always sort of been in my blood. But for someone with martial issues, it is an unnecessary distraction as it takes a lot of time to become good at it. I am pretty good. I should have been studying marital arts though. I still regularly attend and train, because I have known these people for years and they are really the only friends I have. So now, I have a hard time parting with it only because I have no other social outlets. I am not blessed with her abundant free time, so friends do not come cheap. She is jealous when I do anything outside of our relationship exclusive from her, and has hated this activity of mine from the beginning. This is ironic, because she is Chicago right now with the kids. As I can't get away from work, no problems vacationing without me. In the beginning, I promised her I would only study to black belt, but you really don't even begin to learn until you are a first. I am a second now, and I told her previously that I would stop after reaching second. Now though, I value the social aspects more than anything else, so I have reneged again. This going back on my word has not been a habit in our relationship, but I feel compelled to die on this hill because aside from TKD, all I really have is work and my kids. You are right again about me not wanting anyone else to raise my kids. That is not going to happen on my watch. I feel like she's holding all the cards. If I stay, I'm unhappy. If I leave, I'm financially screwed and unhappy. Plus I have to contend with her meeting up with some guy. I could easily get some blonde chick in a sports car, but I don't want that. I want her. I practice instead of eating lunch 2 to 3 times per week and go on set at mornings. My other morning training, Monday through Friday, starts at 5 to 7:30 a.m. or so, and really doesn't interfere with anything around the house. She too has a sport or had a sport because she is currently awaiting reconstructive knee surgery. When it came to her sport, She had no problems with evenings and weekends. In her defense, she would politely invite me along, but it was never really my thing. My thought is if you spend 3 hours at a gym, you should leave tired. Not so with racquetball. I have always been an exercise hound. I was this way when she met me at 18. I would think she would be happy that I take care of myself. It is important to me that I remain physically attractive to her. And conversely, she is fit and still very attractive to me. It upsets me though that she wants it both ways, because at 40 most of her friends are now complaining their husbands are fat house cats. As for he said, I loved you like life itself. I brought home my paycheck. I was working for US. I was doing it because I did love you. I could have written that. Lord knows I have thought it 1,000 times. I also believe that I am the exception to your rule. I am very verbose, almost to a fault. In this aspect, I believe traditional roles are reversed in our situation. She isn't very good expressing herself and tends to speak in either riddles or generalities. You are also very right when you say I am angry about the affair. I am pissed. It is the ultimate betrayal. I did nothing wrong. Nothing deserving of this. I have been the husband that society taught me to be. I worked hard. I was faithful. I was honest in my business associations. I feared God and lived by a Christian moral code. I took care of my family and was a better father than the one I had. I was taught men are strong, so I became strong. I was taught men work hard, so I learned to work hard. Maybe she told me she needed something else. In fact, I know on several occasions she did, but I had unfulfilled needs as well. The day I found out was very surreal. To be honest, when I got home, I told her what had happened at work, how it was raining outside, and how I had to take this crying woman from our waiting room out into the fall rain because my patients were hearing a bit too much of our conversation. She offered me pages of phone records as proof of their contacts, and reports of my wife leaving their house while she was out. I refused to take anything from her, as I couldn't look upon any of it. They both denied that anything physical occurred. However, my neighbor has since divorced her husband. I guess at least one spouse didn't believe. My gut tells me she cheated. It explains why she is so aloof. I am tired of her midlife crisis. I am tired of her weekend trips to the coast. I am tired of her girls' trips to Vegas. I am tired that after getting back from Chicago this week, she is wanting to go to Santa Barbara without me or the kids. I can hear her already. You need to spend some time with the kids. I have tried to tell her that our relationship is the principal one, and without that plant vibrant and healthy, every other vine, like our kids, wither. She doesn't agree. The kids are more important. BS, if that were true, they wouldn't have come second. Sometimes, I really believe she thinks that I really don't have any feelings because I tend to be pragmatic, disciplined, and look like a Marine first sergeant. Maybe I should have chosen a softer persona, but I honestly thought women liked strong men. I thought this made her feel safe. Hell, it attracted her to me in the first place, but I guess I was wrong. I guess it will take time. But right now I find it impossible to forgive her because she hasn't shown any real repentance. She has given me rationalizations for her behavior, but hers is an indefensible position. I want accountability, and then I can begin to talk about commitment. I believe I now understand what the word estranged means. If I need to meet her most of the way, Sandy, I am sorry to tell you I can't do that. I guess I'm weak. Yes, pride is a deadly sin, but then again so is lust. I guess I am losing 2-1, because come to think of it, so is anger. I honestly believe I could forgive just about anything other than this. I have given up and changed so much of my life for this woman, and for her to do this is unacceptable. I left my chance to become a commissioned officer in the service, which was my first and only true career dream. To this day, she talks as if she saved me from something terrible by finding me and showing me her enlightened ways. For the record, she was a crappy student in college. She is very bright, just a poor work ethic. Let's see, am I actually committed to her? I left my family and friends in the Midwest for her. I busted my rump in school for her and then again when I graduated and hit the street. So, in retrospect, I think so. She comes from a wealthy family and marries down on the social and economic ladder when she met me. Her parents originally didn't approve of her marrying a serviceman, but as they got to know me, they began to realize how lucky their daughter was. Their words, not mine. I understand everything that has been done for me, and I truly appreciate her parents' support in all my endeavors. Like, they supplied the original startup money for my first clinic. I have long since paid them back in both money and thanks. I honestly believe that I enjoy a better relationship with her mother than she does. No, I have not mentioned any of my wife's activities to her mother, nor do I intend to. However, everyone in my clinic knows with the exception of my assistant. God, I hate people that gossip. Anyway, Sandy, I am not up to lonely commitment right now. I think a lot will hinge on how my wife acts this week following her return from back east. She needs to offer the olive branch. Would need a hand and a half to count the opportunities that I have had to cheat on her during our marriage. I have turned down everything from blatant proposition to bump and rub. It is called control and self-respect. I just wish to hell part of me still didn't love this woman. I believe I'm indeed a strong-willed and success-driven person. In order to achieve anything of worth in the world, it's pretty much a given that you have to be this way. However, I do accept failure, and in fact even welcome it if I have truly given my best. Some of my most important teachable moments have come after I had screwed something royally up. A failure is still a mistake, but if you have learned from it, at least it's not a mistake you are likely to repeat. As for second place, that's fine by me as well. I figure with 6 billion people on the planet, number 2 wouldn't be bad at all. Hell, I'd even settle for number 2 million. The reality is, I am not who you think I am. I am a poor kid who was given a chance and became something he wasn't probably supposed to be. I do receive gratification from my work, because my patients do in fact appreciate me. There is no greater compliment than the referral of a loved one for care. Could I leave it? In a heartbeat. I see less talented people making a hell of a lot more money with less work and heartache every day. Do I beat the hell out of myself physically so I can retain a mental edge, dull the pain of a failed relationship, and make it through the day without missing something important while I'm working? Yep, pretty sure that's it. Frankly, the fact that she keeps asking me to give up anything in my life that has value to me as some sort of noble sacrifice to prove my love is rather immature and selfish in my opinion. She's tired. Well, so the hell am I? The reality is the major difference between us is that when pushed, I chose to press on over the next hill, and she chose to quit. In case you were wondering, we had a housekeeper for years, and still have a gardener. As for the yard part, we have a lot of flowers, so it's detail work to keep everything in bloom. I mostly do it because I find it cathartic. Same exact reason I study TKD. It seems there is satisfaction in both building and destroying. As for your quote, I disagree. I believe all three occur by choice. I am sorry if I sound hostile in this reply, but what the duck, it's impossible to be a man these days. Because it seems like if you're summer, sooner or later your wife wants winter. Well, I never chose to be summer. I became what I thought she wanted me to be, and now she doesn't like everything that comes with it. Well, neither do I. Everything has a trade-off. The last is my special little quote to share with you. I do appreciate your advice though, but unless I change my environment, I don't think it will be possible to change my perspective, as the one largely shapes the other. I am angry. I do feel as though control in my life has been taken away. I also find that I no longer trust her. This is especially hard, as our current lives cause us to spend time apart frequently. I have taken to sending her messages straight to voicemail when she calls my cell, or having a message taken when she calls the front desk. Now she pretty much just doesn't call. I realize this is petty, but I have sort of adopted an Amish policy of shunning her. I am no longer wearing my wedding ring. I never removed it once during the first 16 or so years of our marriage. Now, I'm not even sure exactly where it is in my office. I frequently back out of social commitments with her as I feel our relationship is a sham. I also feel that this has diminished me as a man, and this disturbs me greatly. I feel that somehow I am inadequate, but I am not sure in what category. The bastard she cheated with isn't even half the man I am in any capacity I can measure. He isn't good looking, he's not particularly bright, or even very successful for that matter. He just had a lot of time off between jobs and was available. Please don't tell me the secret is just being available. The dog was available as well, but she didn't opt to screw it. He actually apologized to me in a very public place and stated to me vehemently that nothing physical occurred between him and my wife after the incident went down with his wife. If true, why did his wife promptly divorce him? If untrue, I have infidelity compounded by lack of remorse. I feel like she's sullied or defiled. I loathe to touch her, but sometimes I do anyway. I guess just because I can. I feel like I'm marking a tree. I really don't feel holier than thou, Sandy. I actually feel rather sad. It's as if my best friend died. I guess in a way she did. For the record, Sandy, it has been 8 months since I found out. I suppose I'm not making much progress on the road to recovery. Anyway, here's to a more productive next 8 months. While I wait for my wounds to coagulate, if she would ever come online and describe me, she will say, he is never here even when he is here. He is always talking about something that happened at the clinic with so and such patient, or about one of his partners. He takes his work home. Half the time he spends half of Sunday in his office writing reports or reading some stupid book or journal. He is always complaining that something isn't right, or some insurance company did this or that. I'm tired of hearing him complain about paperwork and Medicare forms. He talks to me like I actually care about this crap. I'm tired of offering him advice because he never listens to me, even though I am always right. He's stubborn, and he can be so negative. He never wants to do anything or go anywhere. For the time he spends at work, he should be paid a lot more than what he is. He carries his stupid practice, and when my parents provided the loan for his first clinic, he gave away half the shares to his partner who does nothing. How dumb was that? He complains about not having full control of operations to me when he is the one who gave it away. Way to go, Santa Claus. The man has no business sense. He never pays attention to me unless he wants a good time, and he wants that entirely too much. I just give him because it's easier to sleep with him than having him sulk and complain about his needs not being met. What about my needs? Money is tight because he constantly wastes it on this or that. We need to save, but we never seem to be able to. We make a lot more money than most of my friends, but they take trips and go places. We just work. That's his thing, work. Speaking of, I have to do a lot more work because of him and his stupid dogs. I told him never get a male dog, but he went and got two. He never listens to me. I really don't like him. He's condescending and he always acts like he's so goddamn smart. He's got an answer for everything. Just the other week, here is what he did. We have a friend who has a kid who is losing to cancer and is home on hospice. I called him at the clinic and asked him if he could stop by and work with C, as he was once a patient of his. My husband shows up twice, drops some stuff off, and doesn't even go back and talk to him or his mom because he says he's terminal. There is nothing he can do. That's how he said it. Real cold and callous. I can't do anything for him. He's terminal. Well, he could just go and talk with him. C really looked up to him. Just go and comfort him, I said. No ducking bedside manner or social manners. He did the same exact crap when my dad passed. I needed him at the end, but could he take some time away from the clinic? No, I'm not important enough. 2 weeks ago, we are at a nice restaurant. It's Friday after work, and he's complaining about how hungry he is because he trained so hard in the morning. And he never eats any lunch, only protein bars or whatever. I tell him my friends are going to join us for dinner, so we will have to wait for a while before we are seated. We are there for about 45 minutes and I've ordered appetizers when he gets up and puts money on the table. Tells me to have a nice dinner. And walks out of the restaurant, leaving me there by myself. People were looking. Who does that? He didn't even have car keys as I drove. He then had to walk 5 miles to get home. I didn't bother to look for him. I figured the walk would do him good. When I get home, he's watching Unleashed. He doesn't watch much TV, but when he does, it's always karate this or that. Worse, he is always trying to teach that crap to our kids. Kids don't need to learn to hurt people. They already can do that without any training. Kids need to be taught how to love. As such a good Christian, I think my husband would know that. He doesn't. It's how do you get out of this choke or throw this person? What's the counter for a blah kick? It's stupid. The only fight he ever is going to get in is with me, and they are verbal, not physical. He says racquetball is dumb. Not nearly half as dumb as what he does. If my friends hit me, it's accidental. His do it on purpose. I really don't love him, but I'm trapped. I have invested my life in his acquiring skills. When I met him, I encouraged him and loved him. If it wasn't for me, he would have been a frigging lifer in the military. I helped him go to colleges and toughed it out through those lean years while he was studying. He got scholarships and had his GI Bill, but I worked some and my parents helped a lot too. This is how he thanks me now. He gives me an ultimatum and tells me I need to make a choice about whether or not I want to be his wife. I don't want to talk about what he thinks happened with our neighbor. Jay's wife was a nut. She was taking all sorts of medication. I can't believe he doesn't believe me. Yes, I still hang around with Jay. He's a friend. Lots of people have friends of the opposite gender. He hangs around all day with a young blonde at work that hangs on his every word. Please, some assistant she is. I trust him. Why can't he trust me? I think it would go something like that, Sandy. So, there you have it. Her side is brought forth in living, vivid, memory vision second version. Am I a bad guy? Maybe so. Do I have faults? Sure. Do I want my marriage to fail? No. Can I break out of this crippling tunnel vision? Don't really know, but I hope so. So, stay tuned for the next exciting episode, when we find out whether or not my wife will miss me after being gone for a full week back east. A lot will be hanging on this one. Part 2 coming a few hours from this video. Hope you guys are learning something from this. I recently found out you can listen to this while you're driving. You should try it on long trips. Let me go back to working on part 2, and I will see you there.